Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at another fire learning episode. So I recovered his much longer, over hours of both the history, part 1 and 2 of the history of Ireland. This is about an 8-minute video about what language do the Irish speak. It's like, do the Irish speak Irish, Celtic, or Gaelic? Reality is they speak Irish and English. So it's an interesting video where it's looking at what is the Irish language, where did it originate, and its history throughout Ireland, how it was the language of Ireland, particularly the poor, for a very long time. It started to disappear because they were famine after famine after famine, and the poor pretty much were decimated, and then they were part of the British Empire, so in order to move up within society, you had to speak English. And then even the poor who were trying to get out, which means they were moving to England, Canada, Australia, the United States, possibly New Zealand. I don't know about New Zealand, but nonetheless, they had to speak English. So the Irish language, yes, it's a language, it's part of the Celtic language tree, as opposed to English, which is part of the Germanic language. So it is different. And he talks about the few that are still alive. Irish being one. There's a form of Scottish Gaelic that is still around. There's another language that I can't remember because I never heard of it. Cornish, which is still, I think, spoken. And then, of course, Welsh, which is actively spoken. I don't think ever died. Irish nearly died, and it's still... It's not spoken by a lot of people. So, and it's... Why there are definitely some people who are fluent, not a lot of people speak it on a daily basis, which I think is different from Welsh. I'm not really talking about Welsh. Again, we're talking about Irish. But yeah, it's about an 8-minute video that kind of talks about this history and why Irish began to disappear. And then once Ireland became a country in of itself, they tried to start bringing Irish back a bit more. Obviously, the main language in Ireland is English, because that's just kind of the way it is. But there's a lot of people who are trying to bring Irish back, and there are people who still speak the language, so it's not dead. But it's like it's a relatively short video, but it gives you an idea of what Irish is, and it's the language history. So that's really what this video is. I do like fire learning. I'm probably going to cover more of those videos. Be sure to check out, I covered his 2 History of Ireland videos, which are big documentaries. They're about an hour long each. I review them. Obviously, be sure to check them out yourself if you're interested. They're a good introduction to Irish history. This is a good introduction if you're looking at linguistics and kind of looking, it's an addition to looking at the history of Ireland, because the language is very important. If you're looking at some of the Celtic languages. So it's talked a little bit about the history of this is one of the Celtic languages that is still alive. There are not many. Again, Welsh is one of them. They have another Scottish Gaelic, which is still around. Cornish, I think, obviously Welsh. And then there's this other language that I never heard of. And, I don't know, Britain might still, and yeah, that's a language, might be still around a little bit. I don't think it's completely dead. So, but it does do that family tree there of languages. But it talks about the history of the Irish language. So that's really it for this video. Again, this is not very long, because the video itself is only about 8 minutes. So be sure to check out the rest of the Irish stuff. March, I'm covering Irish stuff. I always seem to cover, it's Irish Heritage Month, and March always seems to be spring. So I'm covering a couple Irish movies as well with Pierce Brosnan, who is, in fact, as far as I know, Irish. So no, he's not English, as much as his Bond thing implies. He's Irish. So, as well as a bunch of other stuff. I think this is counteracting. No, this is balancing off my my Irish books. Lots of spring related books going on here, and I like Irish history. It's very, very interesting. I'm big on British history. Uh, Obvious because I also cover a bunch of Lindsay Holiday, her Tea Time series with the British. You can check those out. Those should have been, if not, some of them are probably still going on because they're balancing off my Princess Diaries series because I'm covering those as well, along with, again, a wide variety of stuff. So be sure to check out the rest of the channel. I'm covering a bunch of book series this year, from the Princess Diaries to Maura Pierce, which might be going on now, to Guardians of Ga'Hoole, which is Catherine Lasky, which will take you into fall, along with, of course, the other stuff that I'm covering that are themed part of the months. And then I'm doing a little bit more Meg Cabin, a little more Catherine Lasky near the end of the year. And yes, I have a cat in my lap as frequent. Check out other videos for the cat. So, but again, like and subscribe, leave a positive comment if you have one, and please check out what I've got. Thank you.